everybody. Welcome to another edition of Gruber Wired. I'm Mark Beach.
I'm John Dotson, and welcome back once again.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're winding down August.
Summer's coming to an end, right?
Labor Day weekend.
That is. It's a time we take time to say thank you to all Americans for the service and labor that they give out there.
Not just women who've had babies?
No, not just the females out there who've had babies. No.
Okay. No.
But thank
you,
Mom.
Not that kind of labor. Okay.
Wrong type of labor. But no, Labor Day, it comes around this time of year, and it's really one of the kickoffs to say, hey, guess what? Fall is coming.
Yes.
And if you've lived in our area here, I've noticed especially, hey, the sun is, starting to shine a little bit down earlier in the evening.
Yep.
By about 7:15 to 7:30, it starts to, go down on us. And
days are shorter.
The days are shorter, and nights are getting cooler.
Yep.
I noticed temperatures down in the 80s in the evening now.
Yeah.
So,
we're getting there, man,
Yeah.
Have to bring out the parkas pretty soon.
Parkas in Phoenix?
The parkas.
We wear shorts here year round, right?
I have winter shorts and I have summer shorts.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, yeah. I get it.
No, it's been great, though. Business has been good. Things are going well here.
Very busy month.
For whatever reason, though, my team has decided just to lay in on me today, right? They've been taking the brunt of it.
What are you talking about? Are you crying about something?
You guys have just been laying into me.
I didn't bring a hanky. If you want me to, we can go find a hanky.
Thank you, Bob, Crystal, Harry, Mark.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah. Okay. So
John's got a big move coming up.
We do. Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to be changing cubicles.
Yes. I get to move, and it looks like Rosanna will become part of my personal team.
There you go.
And we're going to work with her and help develop her and bring her up to speed and hopefully refine the processes and just get things really kicked off and going.
Just don't teach her any of your bad habits.
I have bad habits?
Well, we'll talk offline. Yeah, no.
No, not really. So,
we won't talk offline
here. No.
Okay.
But yeah, things around here, we're having some really good changes taking place, and exciting times.
There's always something going on at Gruber.
Never a dull moment for
Never
sure.
Never a dull moment.
So
today we're going to talk about something pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's a little bit out of my realm. I don't have the knowledge and background to get too much in this. I do a little bit of research. My brain cannot compute at the quantum level.
See?
Did
you ever watch the show Quantum Leap?
Oh, yeah. Love that show.
Yeah.
They tried to remake that, didn't they?
I don't know.
Or were they working on it?
They might have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who was that? Scott Bakula?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was Captain Archer.
That's right. That's right. He took over the role as Enterprise.
There you go.
As an actor. But
they did an episode of that where they had his, the guy that was on Quantum Leap with him, right? The guy with the little device, right?
I forget his name.
I forget his name too, but they had an episode with him on it.
Nice.
Yeah, they kind of did a little reunion there.
So, Jesse, if you want to pull up picture number 1 for us, as he was stating, we're getting to take a look today and just diving into the realm of quantum technologies and computing.
Right.
This is a phase of the future where we're starting to see lots of exciting activity and all sorts of things taking place.
Right. And, a big theme of a lot of what we've done has been about, data compaction or smaller footprint, higher transmission rates. And so with quantum computing, it's basically doing more, right? With
less,
right?
Getting it down there. Right here we go. In physics, a quantum is the minimum amount of any physical entity involved in an interaction, a discrete quantity of energy proportional to the frequency of the radiation it represents, a natural unit or packet of energy, charged, angular momentum, or physical property, the fundamental level of matter and energy, or the basis for understanding how atoms, chemistry, and biology work.
There you go.
So a little bit of understanding of what we're actually talking about at this particular level.
Right. So quantum computing actually, parses down to what they call qubits.
Correct.
Right? So it's a.
Well, you know what? Pull up photo number 2 because we kind of have some terminology terms here that might help us out a little bit. Here we go.
Right.
Let you read that one there. Qubit.
Right. So it's a fundamental unit. That's what I was trying to get to, was the unit, the name for the unit of quantum information. So for those of you who are familiar with computing, we talk about bits, bytes, right? And a bit is a 1 or a 0,
correct,
basically. And then the way it works is at the machine level coding, the ones and zeros are turned on and off based on the value to create a calculation, right? A qubit, however, is something that can exist in multiple states at the same time, which is how the quantum computing really takes off. So the way that this explains it, unlike a classical bit, which is either a 1 or 0, a qubit can be in a state of 1 or 0, any quantum superposition of these states, allowing quantum computers to process vast amounts of information simultaneously. And superposition is the ability of a quantum system to be in multiple states at once.
So explain that a little bit, saying multiple states at once. So you were explaining, for instance, like the idea of a quarter.
Right.
You have a heads and a tails.
Which is, so if it's a bit, a quarter is either a 1, a head, or 0, a tail, right?
Correct.
However, a qubit is like when you flip a coin, and it can be in multiple positions at the same time.
So
and variances of that same position.
It rotates, you have the same physical disposition.
Right. It's neither heads nor tails, and it's both at the same time.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
So the 1 and the 0 is just like the quarter being in a fixed spot, and it's either up or heads or tails, but a qubit is that spinning quarter in the air.
Gotcha.
Where it can exist in multiple states at the same time.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this says that a qubit can represent both a 0 and a 1 at the same time, thanks to superpositioning, which is the key to parallel processing power of the quantum computers. So then
you're basically you're taking the information, deciphering it together, correct?
Right.
Into a single state of togetherness. Is that my understanding? So it could be in the multiple states at the same time.
That's really cool. Yeah. I don't know. It's essentially, I mean, so one qubit doesn't do anything by itself.
Correct.
But, it's a combination of that quantum assembly that would, the formation of multiple qubits that would create the calculation. And so it can simulate things much faster than flipping the ones and zeros, even though it happens super fast to begin with.
Yeah, we can't imagine.
These are to the next level, right?
Then we get entanglement would be our next representation here, right?
Right. So quantum entanglement is where the value of qubit 2 is dependent upon the value of qubit 1. So they're tied together, and it can occur over distance. What the entanglement?
Yeah, entanglement.
Yeah. Help us out here, Jesse.
This is what's going to allow us to talk to people on Mars like instantaneously.
Did I not use that example? So it's the position of a qubit in one place can determine the position in another place
simultaneously,
not even connected, right? They are entangled.
Mm-hmm. So the same transmission be instantaneous from a transmission on Earth to Mars at one linear point in time.
In theory.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it's not even a speed of light thing. It's the exact instant that one of them changes, the other changes. So there's zero latency no matter the distance.
Right.
Wow.
No matter the interference, no matter the radiation, no matter anything.
So it's almost like a time-space warp, correct? Where you have the singularity in the middle and time and space warp together?
I mean, it is
in essence.
I mean, there is no true transmission. Just one qubit knows the state of the other qubit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
That's crazy.
How? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the whole quantum mechanics thing is a little above my pay grade.
Yeah, we're here at Gruber. We're not at MIT.
But it's cool stuff to understand. It's fun to research. It's fun to take a look at this and try to grasp the reality and understanding of it, because what we're seeing here eventually is going to transfer over to what we are doing physically, you know? Right. And so trying to take a look at this and go, wow, it's just mind boggling.
Yeah, it's impressive. And, we talk a lot about, data transmission rates and using fiber and, density of data channels, right?
Yeah.
And so, this sort of thing is next level, obviously. And, in theory, with entanglement, you wouldn't need cables, right? If data is,
Yeah.
if the state of a qubit is changing based on the state of the first qubit, then it just happens.
Yeah. Well, it's like the story I pulled up, did a little bit of research on recently, we talked about, and that's researchers from Leibniz University of Hanover. They developed a novel transmitter and receiver, right, that allows transmission of entangled protons over fiber optic cables.
Right.
So they're able to take the qubits, get this entanglement put together, right?
Okay.
So they'll put it together on one end, transmit it through the fiber, and decipher it on the other end.
Right.
So they can take now any of these protons and these entanglements and change them basically to entangle them together and camouflage them under any source color code.
Right.
And it's mind-boggling. I mean, and that's using current infrastructure.
Right. And I think, we're talking actually about photons, not protons, right?
Yes, that'd be photons.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, right. And these are, so there is, what they call defective protons or photon. You got me doing it. Defective photons. And depending on the light source material, it creates defects in the photon stream.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And those are used for data transmission.
Yeah.
So these are not the qubits part, but these are, it's light, but these are, encoding at the photon level to transmit data as opposed to how light carries the data right now.
Gotcha.
Yep.
If you pull up number 3, Jesse, I think we actually have a chart of this showing these defects. There we go. Okay, so the defects are shown here, and this is what they've observed most on are through diamond and carbon, correct?
Right.
And that's where you see the diamond, I believe, is the VC, and the VC is the carbon, VSI is the diamond side of things, right?
Very small inclusion.
Yeah. But these singularities, which are shown by the black dots there, are those defects that you're talking about.
Right. And somehow this works with light transmission so that these defects can indicate and encode or create that handshake to be able to, for the data to be able to sync from one end of the light stream to the other and contain data.
Yeah.
Right.
And they've been able to do this and control it through very different methods. You have the optical method of using like a laser control system
Right.
to control these. And then you have magnetism using a magnetic field to control these defects, right? And help create them. And what's the third one? Electrical control.
Okay.
So you have these different forms of control to control these little defective fields in there so that you can manipulate them to hold the data that you're looking to store, correct?
Absolutely. And, this podcast is great if you're trying to go to sleep tonight and you want to listen to all this. You just want to nod off and then right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, this is deep stuff. Deep thoughts with Jack Handy.
Yeah, with Jack Handy. No, but it is. It's interesting stuff in our world because this is changing at the basic levels, everything we seem to know. I mean, Jesse, you probably know more about this than we do and the changes that are taking place and occurring.
Well, it's rewriting everything, and AI goes hand in hand with a lot of this, this new tech because everything promotes speed at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. But we get this speed that's almost simultaneously. It's zero latency, like Jesse keeps after that. That's what we're after. That's where we want to get. Now, Jesse, how far away do you think we are from seeing some of this technology practical out there in our daily use?
Probably still quite a ways away. I think that it's a lot harder than people think to actually get entanglement to work. I don't think we fully understand it yet completely. I think there's a lot of good theories, a lot of good work, but we're a long ways away from like household quantum computing, I don't think will be a thing for many years now. Large data centers and AI data centers specifically using this kind of tech to accelerate their learning, to accelerate their delivery to customers. That'll be happening probably within the next 10 years.
Okay.
But the thing with quantum computing is that you have to deal with things at quantum states, you have to cool them down really, really, really cold.
Right.
And until we get more, there have been some advancements recently in superconducting at room temperature, but they haven't really been proven out yet.
Well, that's one of the things I noticed about this particular discussion and talking about the defects in diamond and carbon, right, that they've been using. Those defects are practical at room temperature.
Right.
They don't need a cooling source.
Yeah. Once we get to there, where it's actually, we can put that into production in these computers, and we have room temperature level superconducting where there's no heat generated or nothing that has to really be vented or any of that stuff. It's gonna revolutionize things pretty quickly.
I just don't know why the aliens just don't give us the technology and
Right.
quit making us have to figure it out.
Hey, you know, E.T. showed us what you could do with the little, what was those little phonics for kids tools to be able to
You
make
talking about the see and spell?
yeah, see and spell. That's it.
Yeah.
So we can call home.
Yep.
You know,
I understand.
he showed us. He was here.
So, you know, the idea again is that all of this seems to be headed down the same road. These are different channels, right?
Yeah.
But between, you know, application development, between AI, computer programming, between the data transmission technology, capacity for large amounts of data over smaller and smaller footprints, data storage, and then the speed at which data computations are done,
Yeah.
the speed of computing, all are running down the same highway in different lanes.
They are. And I think what's really cool about watching this process go is the fact that we see all these different technologies taking place, right?
Right.
But yet they're all part of the bigger picture, the puzzle at the end that we're looking for.
Right.
You know, so you see research done over here on quantum computing. You see research done over here with new ways of fiber optic cabling and distancing. And you have all these different subject matters taking place.
Right.
But each of them eventually are going to work their way in to becoming a piece of our everyday life.
Right.
And what we're going to do with that, how we're going to take it. It's going to massively improve, especially adding AI into that mix.
Right.
We are going to see a massive jump, I think, in the way we live our lives. You know, when I say that, it's within a realm of 20, 30, 40 years.
Well, you look at the, you know, just the conceptual change, you know, from the time I was growing up, right? Let's say 8-year-old Mark, and, you know, turning the knob on the TV, and there's no, you know, VCR yet. There was no, you know, what do you want to watch? You watched what was on TV, right?
Yeah.
It was like 4 channels, you know, and that was it. It was like a 3, 5, 8, and 10. There were 5, 3, 5, 8, 10, and 12, right? And that was it.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't on one of those,
That's it. That's what you had. You went
Right.
outside and grabbed a stick and you played,
right?
you know?
There were no microwaves.
No.
If you wanted something, you had to cook it, right? And but today, I mean, when you talk about, when you see, you know, the introduction of the camcorder and people recording things, and then they want to play them back, and the VCR, and you start looking at, you know, all of that happening in your phone now,
Yeah. Amazing.
right? And
Yeah.
you look at that quantum shift, right? And all of that was, you know, the foundations of that were laid long before they ever made it to the marketplace,
before.
right?
Correct.
Right. And so same thing with this. It's just that I think I'm always surprised at how fast things tend to go when you look at, you know, GPS and all those satellites going up there and telling us where we are. And, you know, Elon's got how many thousands of satellites in orbit
yeah.
now?
Lots. I think Last for Starlink was 6,000 something, but I gotta double check
Wow.
that.
And he's starting to position them over the poles now, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you guys heard either yesterday, maybe day before yesterday, he announced, so they're in 105 countries approved and have service in 105 countries right now,
Okay.
including a bunch in Africa that were having regulatory problems. So they got some big wins there. But he announced yesterday that basically any cell phone can receive signal from Starlink, even if they're not set up for Starlink and you haven't signed up for the service. You can technically still get the signal. So he's going to provide emergency services to anyone anywhere in the world. If you try and make a 911 call and you're within Starlink's range, it will work. That's
that's
basically
cool.
what he was saying.
That's
Very
impressive.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just what you're talking about. I mean, yeah, I look back and I go, we started off with our first little Disney record player,
Right. Right.
and then came the 8-track, then came cassette tapes.
Right.
Then we had to throw away our cassette tape,
For
collection
CDs.
for CDs.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden we had this massive CD collection and we got these books and books of CDs, and then everything went MP3 players,
Yep. Yep.
So then we switched over to that, and then we go, oh, wow. So now we're paying for all these different services today, but everything is confined into, like you said, our phone, our
Right.
home systems. And
Right.
so it's
there
crazy.
are 6,350 active Starlink satellites.
There you go.
6,350.
I still want to know how he put them over the poles with the flat Earth. That's
question.
amazing.
It
How
is.
do that work?
I
but,
told you before how that works, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So, not making fun of anybody, but I am.
Yeah. I know.
Right. So I used all that illustration though to indicate that in people's minds back then, as opposed to where we are now is so foreign, would be so foreign to somebody who 50 years ago,
Wouldn't have a clue.
right? And you look at where the focus is from development standpoint and from research now, and all of that, naturally coming into the data ecosystem over time, the
Mhm.
network ecosystem, that 50 years from now, what we see then is going to be unrecognizable to somebody today.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
it's that fast. And
It is.
I'm sure our parents said the same thing before us.
Right.
In the way that technology came along, for them coming,
Right.
in that place.
Aside from the time travelers who go
It's
back
like,
and you see them
yeah.
in pictures with cell phones, but besides that, those guys knew what was up, but everybody else was clueless, right?
Yeah.
Right.
No, very
So-
true.
So, we're sitting here today and we're talking about some pretty cool tech that is still leading edge, still, in R&D or in
Yeah.
the discovery phase of its existence, and it will be common 50 years from now.
Yeah.
Wherever we go, however long it
We'll
takes
be
to get
using
there,
it in our everyday
it'll be
lives.
common
I mean,
then, right?
Yeah.
And so that what does the world look like when those things develop,
It'll be interesting. If
You
we're
know?
still around to see it.
right?
Hopefully we are by then.
I mean, I'll hang out till I'm 110.
you can hang
That's
out?
fine.
You want to be 110.
I want to be
You do
150.
not want to. No, you don't want to be the oldest person alive
Well,
because
you
you only
don't-
get that title for like 2 weeks.
Everything. Look, everything's advancing, including medical tech.
Yeah. Yeah.
So being
That's true.
110 then, it's probably not going to be the same as if you were 110 today.
Yeah, I could see that.
I might still
To
look
an
the
extent.
same,
Yeah, take your Flintstone vitamins. Let's see how that works.
right?
Hey, Jesse, I think it's picture number 5. We actually show a picture of this entanglement.
That looks pretty tangled to me.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Oh, maybe it's the next one, number 6. There we go. So here we go with the basics of a quantum network, as you can see there. So physicists have created a network that links 3 quantum devices using a phenomenon of entanglement. Each device holds 1 qubit of quantum information and can be entangled with the other 2. Such a network could be the basis for a future quantum internet. So you can see right there, you got Bob and Charlie and Alice, right?
Yeah, Bob, that's for you.
Yeah, it's for Bobo there.
Bob.
See, Bob can store his entanglement with Alice in a memory qubit, right? While the other qubit establishes entanglement with Charlie.
Right.
So you can see the flow of the chart here, and it shows, the distance there and so forth. So you have a communication qubit and then, or Qubert. Remember Qubert? We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, I heard you talking about that. I don't think I ever did the Qubert.
No, you
thing.
never played the Qubert video game?
No.
Yeah, check it out sometime.
Yeah.
So you can see here how a photon funneled through the optical fiber, which is delivered to another device and establishment of entanglement. So
Right.
again, this is going back to showing how they're going to use fiber optic cabling to take these entanglements and be able to send them together. And then once they get to their location, you can actually take and decipher them apart from each other.
Right.
Yeah, a big breakthrough.
Exactly. And, this doesn't say they, theorize creating. It says they have created networks that link 3 quantum devices.
Yeah.
Right. So it's been done. Right.
Yeah, so we now have in theory a working specimen here per se that can be done and established. And what you're going to see from this, now that they say, we figured this part out, now comes the work of deciphering it to say, what else can we do with this? Where can this go? How
Right.
can we refine the processes that are involved in this entanglement and so forth? But the way we're going to share communication, not just communication, but all sorts of data, I could see this just being a huge leap.
Right. So we got a comment online. Zager and Evans hit song lyrics from the last century contained in the year 2025 if man is still alive. 25.
25.
Yep.
Hey, so I'm not familiar with that tune. I'll have to take a look at that. Check it out.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah,
I have no I don't think I
Man is still alive. I'm gonna
recall that one.
No, I'm gonna actually write that down so I can check it out.
Yeah, usually you're right on with the musical references.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Pretty good playing the song games at home too. Just ask the kiddos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mark, let's see really quick if you remember any of the information we went over today. I got a question for you. And this question, if you get it right,
Okay.
is worth $100 to you.
$100.
$100 if he gets this right.
Okay.
You ready for the question? Here we go.
I don't know.
What is the concept of quantum superposition, and how does it differ from classical states?
Yeah, so that's the scenario where the quarter is either heads or tails.
Thank you. You're just giving them $100. Look at this. Come on.
Right? Heads or tails. What? What's wrong?
So, Jesse, smart. Thank you.
What was he? What did
He put the definition right up there for you. Thanks, Jesse. I appreciate it.
I can do it like this. I can do it like this. So it's like I said, like I explained, the quarter where heads is 1, tails is 0.
Yeah.
That's the natural state, or the what kind of state did you say?
What state did I say? Your state of classical state.
Classical state.
Yeah.
All right. But the quantum state is the flipped quarter, where it can be in position. It can be in multiple positions at the same time. So the qubit can be it's not a 1 or a 0. It's both a 1 and a 0.
The singular
same
state
time.
at the same time.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Well, here's your
Yeah.
$100, man.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for your help there, Jesse. Just throw my money away. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
One
You better
more
buy them
comment
some
there.
ice cream.
I'll just give this to Jesse.
You gonna give that to Jesse?
Yeah.
There you go, Jesse. There you go.
All right. So
Before your time, guys. I'm gonna research that one. I'm
Yeah.
gonna find out about that song. I'm gonna take a listen to it.
yeah.
Most definitely. I'll let you know next podcast what I
Right.
come up with.
Yep. Absolutely.
So
Well, this has been fun.
yeah,
It went
interesting
quick.
topic. It does go quick some days, and
Yeah.
just starting to all this really gets you thinking about the future and what's coming, but also starts to think that we're talking about things so minute and so at the nano level,
Right.
that it's hard for me to understand that concept.
Well,
in my own mind.
Well, yeah, people study this stuff a long time, and there's a whole background, and it's hard to like synthesize the explanation into even something a high schooler could understand, right? But the quarter is a good analogy.
It's a good reference point,
but there are all these formulas that exist to calculate quantum states, and I think that what it does for us is help us understand where things are going, right? Not necessarily that we can do anything about applying it now, but we look at the technology and even the stuff that's not bleeding edge, just leading edge.
Yeah.
Like high density fiber, like fiber cables that have over 1,700 fibers in one cable, and these high density racks that are going in, and the high density switches and all of that's going on in networks now, whether it's to deliver web experiences or VR experiences or gaming experiences. Those are all practical applications of leading edge tech now, and that's something that I've been excited about doing here at Gruber, is really diving in to all of that now tech, right? And especially when it comes to the stuff that we're doing, right? And we make and sell the fiber jumpers and all that good stuff, and we do distribution cables and all of that. But there's even more. We do cassettes, we do the fiber cassettes, we do all that. But the technology is moving too, and so understanding
exciting.
where it's going, and being a resource for your customer. Because a lot of times, we're dealing with somebody who might be dealing with somebody, right?
Sure.
And so they need somebody to backstop them and be a resource for them. I think understanding where we are right now and how high up is a great thing.
It's a great place to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exciting. Like you said, it's very exciting.
Right. Looking to the future is where I think, the growth happens in our industry. Being future minded is really puts you in the right position with your customers to be that resource they're going to pick up the phone and ask. And they're not just going to ask you about the future stuff either, because they're going to ask you about the now.
Yeah.
If you've got the future covered, or if you've got the more complex issues covered, they're going to call you about the simple stuff too.
Yeah.
So,
and really, at the end of the day, it comes down to this principle that I like to think of every day. Hey, how do we make life better today for tomorrow?
Right.
And then you just take it from there, and it's really exciting. This is exciting stuff.
I agree. It makes every day interesting to come in and see what's going to happen next.
Now, I'll tell you what's going to happen next.
You moving.
Are going to go out and like, share, and subscribe. That's what you're going to do for us, right?
And you're moving.
I am moving. Come this time this week, I'll be across the hallway into another cubicle.
It'll just be across the aisle.
Yeah.
He can still hit you with sauce packets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
just want to make sure.
Revenge.
Yeah. I understand. So, we're glad you're here. We're glad you joined us today. Like John said, subscribe, and share this podcast. Share it with friends, people you love, people you care about, who you really want them to know about quantum computing. There you go.
There.
They can come watch this.
Thank you once again for joining us.
We appreciate your time. For right now, I'm Mark Beach.
I'm John Dotson, and thank you again.
Thanks.